Could the Chicago Bears trade offensive lineman Braxton Jones? And listen, it might not be as crazy as it sounds, and I got some interesting tidbits to share with you guys. So what is going on, y'all? Fox Sports All back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Please hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video, and let us get into this right here, right now. So Bleacher Report did an article in which they talked about potential NFL trade packages for players who need a fresh start. So they went through all the teams in the NFL. They picked a player from each team who they deem is a guy that needs a fresh start, and the trade package that team could get in return for that player. And guess who was that player for the Bears? Ding, 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 you got it, Braxton Jones. And so with regards to Braxton Jones, this is what they had to say. The Chicago Bears are already preparing for life without left tackle Braxton Jones. They drafted Boston College tackle Ozzie Trapilo with the second-round pick in this year's draft, despite already having Jones and Darnell Wright on the roster. Jones is not entering the final year of his rookie deal and coming off a fractured fibula that he suffered in December. The Bears can complete their offseason, their offensive line overhaul by flipping Jones and getting something in return for him. And the trade compensation they gave out for Braxton Jones was a 2026 fourth and a seventh round pick. So 2 picks, a fourth and a seventh. All right, so let's break this down here. All right, I believe this is not as crazy as it sounds, not because of Braxton Jones, the player, but because of Braxton Jones, the contract. All right, see, everything comes down to, again, the business of the NFL here. And I have no doubts that Braxton Jones will return to being Braxton Jones, the player, coming off that injury. Now, he's not going to be ready fully for training camp. It's going to be bringing him along slowly. And I do think Braxton Jones, is going to be the starter. But I believe that if Ozzie Trapilo impresses the coaching staff, and also keep in mind Kieran Amagaji, the guy they drafted not this offseason, the past offseason, right? In the past draft, if they see these guys as direct replacements, right, for a guy like Braxton Jones, yeah, definitely it's not going to happen right away. But I do see polls looking at the situation and saying, hey, look, we could lose this guy for nothing. And let's assume Braxton Jones plays exactly how we've seen him play, right? Which is a starting level tackle that's decent but not elite by any means. And let's say polls assumes that that is the level we get, and then he's thinking, okay, well, I got to pay this guy more than what he is probably worth, because that's just the rate in the NFL for offensive linemen. And so he's probably thinking, I could trade him, get a couple of picks in return, like a fourth and a seventh, which I wouldn't mind at all. And then I also have the guys that I replaced, that I drafted for his replacement on rookie contracts, right, that I don't have to pay for a couple of seasons. So that just makes sense financially. Now, if Braxton Jones comes in and he is looking great and elite next to Joe Thuney, next to this revamped offensive line, sure, at that point, you might just have to pay the man and be forced to deal with it. But I'm talking about the most likely scenario here. And the scenario is, if Braxton Jones is the player that he has been, and he is decent but not elite, and Ryan Poles decides, hey, I got to get ahead of this and not pay the man more than he's worth, because I got other players that I'll pay down the line. And more importantly, I got guys that are going to give me the same level of production on a rookie contract, that I'm going to trade him. And so I think that is a very real possibility. So I think the timeline for that is probably like, obviously before the trade deadline, early in the season. There's a timeline of it happening, before the season starts, right? There's a timeline of it happening a month or two into the season. And then obviously you got right before the trade deadline. So I do think this is likely to happen. You don't just draft Trapilo, you don't just draft Kieran Amagaji and never let these guys see the field. Now, of course, depth definitely plays a part in it for sure. And there's also, by the way, a scenario here where you just let Braxton Jones play out the entire season, and then you decide if you want to extend him or not. And then at that point, you do lose him for nothing. You don't get any picks, but that is also a scenario here. So to me, a lot of interesting moving parts here. Ultimately, I do think Ryan Poles sees the writing on the wall that he doesn't want to play the guy. He doesn't want to pay the guy. And so I don't think he is going to. And I think the trade is really, really going to be something that he's going to be thinking about. So if I were Ryan Poles, I do think I would be in this line of thinking here because, look, man, I want to pay guys that are elite. I want to pay guys that I believe are totally worth it. And there's a chance Braxton Jones could be worth it, but there's also a good chance that he's not going to be. So to me, I got Ozzie Trapilo. I'm high on him. I got, his replacement there. We'll see what happens. But certainly, me, if I was Ryan Poles, I'm letting this thing play out into the season. And then right around maybe a month before the trade deadline, I'm really looking at the situation and thinking, all right, what should we do here? All right, because again, injuries happen. Offensive line depth is definitely a question mark. So you definitely want to make sure you are, playing this one close to the vest, not making any rash or hash decisions. So let me know what you guys think. Would you trade Braxton Jones if you were Ryan Poles? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.